Good afternoon everyone. I'm down in Sussex again this weekend with the very lovely Candice, and as you can see the weather is awful. 100% chance of rain all of today and quite heavy rain, so I'm going to try and keep this a short little video. We're at Bramber Castle, which is owned by English Heritage. Well, I think it's also owned by the National Trust, because there's a little National Trust sign back there near the woods. So there's quite a bit still surviving here. There's the remains of the tower, I think the gatehouse tower, that's the famous bit. You've got, I suppose, like the inner bailey around us. There's the ditches with the bridge. You've got the central motte where the keep, I guess, would have been. I mean, we've only just got here, so I don't really know what we're looking at, but it's a pretty cool little castle. Yeah, going to keep it a short video just because the weather is awful and I've got a few other videos to put out, but thought I haven't done one of these for a while, just a history alone video. So if you like those, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoy it. And yeah, let's get exploring. The castle was founded by William de Braose in about 1073. Deep ditches protect the castle, and there is a mound or motte at its centre. Parts of a stone keep that was built on top of an earlier gateway also remain. The castle was in ruins by the 16th century. Built shortly after the Norman conquest to help protect King William I's newly won territories, Bramber Castle was the Sussex seat of the de Braose family. Bramber Castle was part of a network of castles created to guard the strategically important Sussex coast. The region was divided into areas called rapes, each protecting a vulnerable point in the coastline. Bramber defended the Ada Gap through the South Downs, where the River Ada flowed to the sea. William de Braose, about 1049 to 1094, who had accompanied Duke William from Normandy, was granted the Rape of Bramber. He built the first castle here in 1073. He also founded the church below the castle and established the borough of Bramber, which grew up along the causeway over the river. The castle remained in the de Braose family's hands for over 200 years, but with neglect and erosion from the later Middle Ages it fell into ruin. From the 17th century the castle became much admired for its picturesque beauty. The Rapes of Sussex served as administrative districts in the charge of the Conqueror's trusted barons. Each was centred on a castle controlling either the coast or a major river estuary. Bramber's bridge was located at a key crossing point and protected the inland river route. Bramber Castle's fortifications included this imposing stone tower, built to display the power of the de Braose family. The first castle at Bramber, built in 1073, was of Motte and Bailey design. An artificial mound or motte, probably topped with a wooden tower, was raised in the middle of this large natural knoll. The motte was protected around three sides by a deep ditch. The northern part beyond the motte became the bailey or enclosure. Around the end of the 11th century, a deep ditch was dug around the whole knoll. A stone curtain wall was built on top, with a gatehouse controlling the main entrance to the south. Probably under Philip de Braose, around 1070 to 1134, the gatehouse was heightened by over 15 metres, creating a three-storey great tower. It was built of chalk, limestone, local flint and expensive dressed cairnstone imported from France. The new tower made a bold statement of Norman control over the surrounding region. The castle buildings were still in active use until the 15th century, but later fell into ruin. This tower was adapted to provide modest living quarters. Pottery dating to the 17th and 18th centuries has been discovered during excavations.
William de Braose III, one of the greatest early Norman barons, was crushed by King John. The king's vengeful behaviour helped spark off the barons' rebellion, which led to the drawing up of Magna Carta. By the early 13th century, William de Braose III, who died in 1211, the great-grandson of Bramber's founder, had acquired vast lands not only in England but also in Wales and Ireland. A loyal supporter of King Richard I, de Braose continued to be greatly favoured by King John, 1199 to 1216. In 1208, King John, keen to control his powerful subject and taunted perhaps by de Braose's knowledge of the murder of an English claimant to the throne, ordered the family's arrest. De Braose himself was outlawed, his lands seized, and his wife and eldest son imprisoned and starved to death in Windsor Castle. This brutal persecution shocked the other barons, who began to rebel against the king's injustice. De Braose's youngest son eventually regained some of his father's lands, but the family's influence decreased. King Edward I, 1272 to 1307, visited Bramber on several occasions, and in the 14th century the castle experienced some renewed prosperity. The hall, chambers, chapel and kitchen were rebuilt at this time, as well as much of the curtain wall and defensive tower behind us. Bramber passed by marriage from the de Braose to the Mowbray family after 1327. It was later owned by the Howard Dukes of Norfolk. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the castle had a tea room and occasionally a fairground. Swings, coconut shies and other amusements were set up in the bailey. In 1935, a model steam train, the Silver Jubilee, ran around a track next to the Motte.
So I'm under this umbrella at the moment, trying to film for you because I don't want to get the phone wet. So it's open 24 hours, this castle, and I know what you're thinking. You probably know what I'm thinking, and Candice knows what we're all thinking as well. I wonder if we could wild camp here. It would be quite interesting. There's lots of little places you could hide and stuff, maybe on the Motte or in the woods, or just wipe the lens, or just pull a stealth camp and see what we can get away with. Get out early, arrive here late, be quite cool. Right, we're up on the Motte, the mound in the centre of the castle, where usually the keep would have been, the main posh living quarters for the owner, and sort of levels out up here. There's not a lot left now. Suddenly the views, well, if the trees weren't here, the views would open out and you'd be able to see a lot further. Got some good views around here. I mean, it's the South Downs after all, but I mean, this is pretty flat here. Could get away with a cheeky camp up here, I reckon. It's definitely one we're going to consider, I think, in terms of seeing what you can get away with while camping on castles. This will be quite a good one. So anyway, shh, don't tell anyone. Right, yeah, it's not a lot to see up here, so we'll head back down, get the umbrella back out. So we just made it down the Motte. That was pretty slippery and steep. In dry weather it would be a piece of piss, but on a day like today, bloody hard and treacherous. I nearly went over a couple of times. I think Candice started coming up and then she gave up because I think she probably fell over, bless her. Her balance isn't great, and she didn't come up there in the end. Did you try getting up there?
No, I got slipped.
Yeah, you slipped. I nearly stacked it a couple of times and all.
I'm walking, I go, where is he coming? Is he going to fall?
It's flat up there.
Oh, wait,
It's a nice flat open bit that's sort of secluded by trees, so you could probably get away with
cheeky camp.
a cheeky camp up there. That's what I'm telling everyone. We're going to try and camp here. I know we don't get caught by English heritage, but it's a pretty cool setting though to camp in. I mean, and look, and you've got the views, all the downs up there.
That little boy, he went right up there like a rat out of drain pipe, literally.
Oh no, I saw him.
He went boom up the thing.
Yeah, these kids, they just have no fear, do they?
No.
Yeah. Either that or he just chose the drier route, you know. He was just smart, whereas I picked the one that was like a mudslide. Anyways, right, we're going to head back to the gatehouse. I think we've done pretty much a tour, a walk round of Bramber Castle. Very interesting place. And yeah, best thing, I'll sign off once we're back in the warm, dry car. Yeah. Lovely bit of history.
This parish church was built by William de Braose in 1073 as part of his castle residences and defences. Today it is the only part of Bramber Castle still standing and in regular use.
We're back in the car. We've had a little look around Bramber Castle and the church here, and we thoroughly enjoyed that. We probably spent what, an hour here tops?
Yeah, nice actually.
It's been nice, and we could have spent longer, you know, with the weather. If the weather was better, you could come here, have a picnic, you could have a cheeky wild camp possibly. Yeah, there's a lot of history here. There's a lot more than I thought there'd be. I thought there was just a big tall part of the tower left standing, because all the photos online just seem to show that, and it turns out there's a hell of a lot more really if you have a little look round. And all in all, yeah, it's pretty good, and it doesn't cost anything to come here either really, just I suppose the price of petrol. It's free entry to anyone, even if you're not an English Heritage member. So yeah, check it out if you're around this way or you like your castles and stuff. It's been good. So yeah, there's a little look at the history of Bramber Castle. Hope you enjoyed it. Cheers for watching. See you soon. Bye.